Parents, what horrifying thing did you discover about your kids? My son Ben is 12, smart, curious, the kind of kid who builds Lego spaceships with intricate backstories and draws galaxies in the margins of his homework. He used to giggle uncontrollably with his grandparents, Nan and Pop, who lived right next door. They were his best friends. They'd sneak him cookies, show him old card tricks, their laughter drifting through the backyard like background music to our lives. Then, 8 months ago, Ben changed. Not suddenly, but like a dimmer switch slowly turning the lights down. He got quiet. Shadows settled in his eyes. He skipped meals, locked himself in his room. His sketchbook sat untouched, once full of vivid creatures, now blank. When I asked about school, he'd mutter, "It's fine," and stare at his shoes. Sebastian, my husband, said it was probably puberty, mood swings, typical growing pains, but I knew better. Mothers know. I watched Ben drift. He stopped playing soccer, stopped using the telescope Pop had given him. I'd catch him crying in the mornings, eyes red, wearing a hoodie with a torn sleeve he later tossed in the trash without explanation. One night, I found him standing in our backyard, staring at Nan and Pop's now empty house. He was clutching a photo of them. When I asked what was wrong, he flinched like I'd shouted, then ran inside. We tried everything: talking, gentle prodding, therapy. He'd sit through counseling sessions like a statue, eyes glazed, lips sealed. Desperate, I did something I never thought I'd do. I searched his room. I needed to understand. I found a crumpled letter in his desk, written in pencil. I didn't mean it. Please come back. My heart twisted. He'd begun sleeping by his window, facing their house like he was waiting. At night, I'd hear him whispering to the dark, too soft to make out. Sebastian kept saying he'd open up, but I knew we were running out of time. While he was at a friend's, I searched again, this time under his bed. I found a journal, pages upon pages of "I'm sorry," written in frantic loops, many smudged by tears. Then I found the last entry. I smashed them. I told them to go, and they're gone. I felt the floor vanish beneath me. Ben wasn't in the car when it happened. I knew that. We all did. Nan and Pop were hit by a drunk driver on the way to the grocery store. A tragedy. A senseless, horrible accident. But Ben didn't see it that way. When he got home, I sat him down with the journal in my hands. He froze like I'd caught him doing something terrible. I told him I read it, that I needed him to talk. He broke. Sobbing, he told me that on the morning of the crash, he'd snapped at Nan over breakfast. He'd wanted to skip school to go see a movie, and she said no. He yelled, "Just leave me alone!" She looked hurt. An hour later, they left and never came back. Ben believed his words sent them to their deaths, that his anger cursed them, that if he'd just stayed quiet, they'd still be here. He'd been living with that guilt for 8 months, alone. Sebastian and I held him and wept with him. We told him it wasn't his fault, that the driver was to blame. We said it again and again, even when he shook in our arms, barely able to hear us. We're in therapy now, all of us, trying to untangle his grief from the guilt he's wrapped around it like barbed wire. He's starting to smile again. It's faint, like sunlight behind fog, but it's there. I keep that journal hid, not as shame, as a reminder, to listen for the silence. Because sometimes the scariest thing you discover about your child isn't what they say, it's what they're trying so hard not to.